you doing today? This is David Lucas here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks since I uploaded. Sorry about that. We had like a really long couple of weeks. It was my birthday week. It was my best friend's birthday week, and he ended up coming back home visiting for his birthday week. So I had that, and plus it was Thanksgiving. So I kind of just had like a really long couple of weeks, but don't worry, I'm back here again. And today I'm going to be reviewing one of the movies I've been anticipating for so long. And it's finally here. I can finally review it. I finally found it in a theater by me, and I ended up watching it, and I'm so happy that I did. So the theater all by myself was amazing. That movie is none other than Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. Yes, I'm really excited to do this review. I've been waiting for this movie for so long, and it's been out for a while. It just hasn't really been in a theater near me. The only theater that was around me was like 2 hours away, and I just honestly just don't have the time to go 2 hours all the way to watch a 2-hour film and have to come 2 hours all the way back. It would just be too much for me. So I finally found a theater that was relatively closer to me. I finally seen it, and I'm so excited to talk about this. The Lighthouse stars Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe, and is also directed by last year's Oscar winner, The Witch, Robert Eggers. Now, I really love The Witch. I thought it was such a well-done made horror movie, and now Robert Eggers comes back for The Lighthouse. And honestly, I love this movie more than The Witch. I really love this movie. This movie, it's up there. It's up there in my top 3 favorite movies of all year. I'm not going to necessarily say it's my favorite all year, but it's definitely my top 3 favorite movies all year. The basic plot of this movie is 2 lighthouse keepers get stuck on an island together, and we basically see them get fully sucked into insanity, and we see them go crazy in a nicely, slowly burned, paced film that was honestly paced amazing, in my opinion. Now, some of the things that I gotta say that I really loved about this movie, and really, I don't think there was any bad things about this movie. I can't really think of any cons, so I'm just gonna go straight into just why I think this movie is amazing. So now, the pacing in this movie is so well done, and pacing in movies is very important. In my opinion, that's what I really look for in movies. If the pace is off, then that really does deteriorate how I feel about the movie. But on this, the pace is so perfect. It's probably one of the most bestly paced movies I think all year long. It's so slowly burned. You feel the madness dripping off of these characters, and that's honestly a lot to do with their performances, which I'm going to get into soon. But you can just, by the pace, you can feel just the slow burn of that madness coming, and you can sense it coming. And it's so well done, and at not one point at all in the whole movie, I sit there and I look at my watch, or I look at my phone and I want to end up going, or if I want to go take a break. Not at all. I am constantly on the edge of my seat, waiting for what's happening next in this movie. I didn't want to miss a single thing. And that really is a testament to how good the pace is. Because if the pace was off, then there would be moments in the movie where I would zone out or clock out, because it just goes on too long. But that's not the case with this movie at all. I extremely love the score of this movie. The scoring of it is so beautiful and so haunting and actually kind of scary, like just so eerie and scary, and I just loved it so much. It's probably, next to Joker, one of my favorite scores of all year. It is so good, so well done. Not a single thing wrong about the score. The music hit at the right times. The perfect kind of music hit at the right times. I loved it. It was such a well done score. And now we already know from Robert Eggers that he can shoot movies very well from The Witch. We already knew that, and it's definitely shown in this movie too. It is shot so beautifully. Oh my god, the cinematography in this movie is brilliant. It's really good. I loved it a lot. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson probably give some of the best performances all year. Like, they both did such a great job, and they bounce off each other so well done. Like that one scene when they're eating dinner at the table. Like, there's a few scenes with that where they're eating together, and just the wittiness and dialogue, they're bouncing off each other. You can tell with Robert Pattinson's character, he's more enclosed, he doesn't like talking as much. He more just likes minding his own business, doing his job, and that's it. And Willem Dafoe's character is the exact opposite of that. He wants to talk, he wants to engage and get drunk and get crazy and dance. And you actually see with Robert Pattinson's character, Winslow, that he starts to slowly become more like that. He starts to more get out of his shell. And I really like that a lot. I really like seeing that with the character. And Robert Pattinson just performs it beautifully. Same thing with Willem Dafoe's character. The scenes that he does, the crazy dialogue that he says, he does it and he performs it so perfectly and brilliantly that you're not even watching William Dafoe or Robert Pattinson anymore. You're not watching those two actors. You're just watching these two people talk and be stuck on a island together. I actually gotta say, I think this is probably Robert Pattinson's best performance so far, in my opinion. I loved him in Good Time. That was my favorite performance of him so far, was in Good Time. But now after seeing Lighthouse, I gotta change it. I think Lighthouse is my favorite performance from Robert Pattinson. Like I was just saying a little right before, that he just completely nails his performance, and you're not even looking at Robert Pattinson anymore. You're not looking at it, or even looking at a dude acting. You're just looking at this Winslow guy. That's all. His accent is great. He perfectly performs the emotions. He's a really good emotion actor. And what I mean by emotion actor is that you see in his eyes that the way how he just moves them, you can see that he's almost talks with his eyes, and you can see his mood and how he's slowly starting to change within his eye expressions, and he does that so well done. Robert Pattinson is a great actor. I don't care what anyone says. Now, before I seen this movie, I was hearing from some people that it's actually really scary and stuff like that, and after seeing it, I seen some scary stuff. I mean, there were some scenes that were kind of like put you on the edge of your seat and made you go ooh or something like that. They had scenes like that. But what I was surprised by, what I actually thoroughly enjoyed, was that this movie was actually pretty funny. It was pretty funny to me. Like, there were some scenes where William Dafoe would just randomly fart, and that was funny. They had some funny ass dialogue. Sometimes, again, going back to Robert Pattinson's performances, sometimes when Willem Dafoe's character would go crazy and go on this long crazy rant, Robert Pattinson's character, you just see in his eyes, just sits there and goes, "All right, then you can have the top bunk." It was so funny and so hilarious. Like, it was honestly a hilarious film, to be completely honest, with some good scares, with some good thrills, with some really good suspense. And there's a lot of different things going on in this film, and it mixes so perfectly well. Good job, Robert Eggers. Good job. Going back on the slow burn, throughout this movie, it gets crazier and crazier, I notice. Like, it gets more loonier and more crazier, more some out-of-the-box stuff just happens randomly. I mean, we have a scene of Robert Pattinson straight up jerking off to a freaking doll. That happens, and then, out of like 30 minutes later, Robert Pattinson's having sex with a damn mermaid that just came out of nowhere. And then, I'm not even going to get to the ending, how just balls bonkers it gets at the ending with Robert Pattinson's and Willem Dafoe's character beating the shit out of each other. Robert Pattinson basically just beating Willem Dafoe's character's head in. That was freaking insane. And the insanity in Robert Pattinson's eyes, holy crap. It was crazy. And honestly, this performance makes me even more excited to see him as Batman, especially seeing the craziness in his eyes. I can just already see him putting that into his Batman character, and I can't wait to see it. The ending is just so well done. He ends up walking all the way up to the top of the lighthouse, and it ends up getting so freaking crazy. And something that this film that I really like about it is that when the ending comes and you see Robert Pattinson's character's like eyes all gouged out and he's getting picked at by a whole bunch of birds and all that big crazy magical stuff happens, it leaves you actually wanting to talk about this movie and wanting to discuss with whoever you watch it with. And sadly, I didn't watch it with anyone. I know I've seen it alone. I'm a loner. I watch it all by myself. but it gets you wanting to talk to people about what just happened. What was this about? Is this about Greek mythology? That's what I think. That was my big takeaway from this. He was really inspired by a lot of Greek mythology for this film. And you see that a lot in here. And it makes me think, like, because Willem Dafoe's character says throughout the movie that there's some enchantment on this island and all that. That everyone who's worked on this island never really survived. And it makes you think, like, what's going on here? Is this, like, some kind of, like, cursed island? Or do they get, like, sucked into some kind of alternate Twilight Zone kind of reality where they're not even on Earth or in our reality at all anymore? Is that what's going on? Like, it opens up so much questions. And I just wanted to talk about it because they come up with so much cool stuff. And I really like that it's very open like that, where they don't definitively tell you what's going on. I love that in movies. I get really annoyed with movies when they tell you exactly what's going on. They hand fed you. It's like, here you go, here's what's going on, here's what's going on. Like, no. I want to be able to have my imagination. I want to figure out, oh, so maybe that's what happened. But what if that could have happened? Or maybe that's what really happened, but it's supposed to be interpreted like that. Like, I love films that do that to you, that leave stuff open-ended for your imagination to tell what's going on. I love that, and I love when filmmakers do it right, because you can always do it wrong. You can do that and execute it so poorly, but no, Robert Eggers execute this so brilliantly, and he opens up so much questions. I would really like to see kind of like a series of movies that are not necessarily starring the same people, obviously, but maybe just throughout years of people coming to the lighthouse and maybe experiencing the same stuff. Like, we see different crazy stuff happen. Like, maybe this time it was Greek mythology, maybe next time it would be, I don't know, who knows, like Christianity kind of mythology, who knows. Like, just put like different kind of stuff up there and different kind of people and do some different kind of weird, crazy stuff. And last thing I have to say that I loved about this was that they used old-fashioned cameras and they shot this the old-fashioned way. They didn't. You really feel that. You feel that a lot, and you feel like this movie is basically set in the time period that it is. I think the time period it's set in is like 1800s or something like that. So we really feel like it is in that time period with just the cameras that they use and the technology they use for this thing. They used hardly any kind of technology at all, which I love. All practical, all real sets, all real everything. I loved it. So my final rating of The Lighthouse, I'm going to have to give a 9.9 out of 10 to. Yes, 9.9 out of 10 to The Lighthouse. I thought it was perfectly executed, beautifully shot. The score was perfect, probably one of the best scores all year. Performances by Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson were brilliant, some of the best of both of their careers. Yes, even Willem Dafoe, some of the best of his career. Really one of my favorite movies all year, probably top 3. I'm going to be reviewing my top 1 really soon. I just recently seen it. And I'll give you a hint. It has to do with knives. So stay tuned for that review, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review and my thoughts on The Lighthouse. I'd really like to know your guys' thoughts on The Lighthouse. What did you guys take away from the ending of it? Do you agree with the Greek mythology kind of ending, or do you think there's something else that was going on the island? Let me know in the comment section below. That would be really nice to know what you guys think of it. Thank you so much for watching again. Thank you all for the support all the time. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.